Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is Go Again, a fabulous video cast covering the trading card game Flesh and Blood. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hello Fab people, how are we all doing today? Welcome to Go Again, a fabulous cast. I'm Andrew with you here as always, and believe it or not, we are just less than 1 month away from spoilers starting for Monarch. Yes, that's right, it's finally that time. So that means it's time to start putting ourselves into the mindset of, what's coming forward. Now, of course, we don't know the heroes yet that we're going to be looking at, but instead what I want to talk about today was kind of what I'm going to be looking for in terms of picking kind of that one hero that I really want to get on board with to start once the spoilers start dropping and once Monarch comes available for us. Hello, all my fabulous Dice Commando people. Thank you for tuning in again for this week's chat. So, for some of you out there, you're like, well, why are you talking about picking one hero? That's crazy town. Just buy them all, right? And you're right. We totally get it right. I mean, there's an excellent chance, especially with the Blitz precons, there's an excellent chance that all of us are probably going to pick up all 4 Blitz precons. Then you're going to have, a great starting point to go from all of them. That's probably no accident why they decided to do precons like that. It's a great starting point for everybody, also for new players, but it kind of gives everybody a stake in the game, and then you're less likely to trade and do that. But, we're all aware that at least with my play group, what we try to do is we try to do, kind of the collective case buy, right, where we buy a case and split up 4 ways. It really helps you from a monetary standpoint, really get focused in on that one person. But also just think about it from, just an efficiency standpoint. We can't put all of our time into all of our characters, right? What you really need to do, it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world, whatever, you don't have all the time in the world, and you need to focus in on learning one character. So, whether it's a money standpoint, an efficiency standpoint, or whatever it may be, most of us are going to pick one hero that we start with, right? And over time, of course, we'll expand on the others, but we're all going to pick one hero that we start with. So what I wanted to do today was really talk about what I'm going to be looking at once the heroes start getting spoiled, of which ones I really want to focus on. And I'm going to go completely in order. I'm not going to do some build-up thing. I'm going to go in order, right? The number one thing that I'm going to be looking at when we start to see hero spoilers is actually not at the heroes themselves as much, but their weapons, right? Number one is, I think we've learned this very well over the last year and change of Fab, that having a weapon or weapons, right? So actually weapons have shown to be better, right? But having a weapon that does damage in of itself inherently is a necessary thing. And oh man, thunderstorms moving through. Sorry about that in the background, but it's Mother Nature, right? So repeatable and non-dependent damage source that's what I'm looking for, right? How many decks have we seen? We've seen you can do a fatigue thing, and just the fact that you always have it there, it is good for you. And, the next bullet that I'm showing right now with the 1-card pitch, I think for many cases, that's actually the more important part of it, is that it allows you to defend, right? You don't need to have a card to play plus a card to pitch for that. Worst case scenario, you have 1 card left in hand, and you can still get an attack off, which makes them consume resources, which makes your best turn, and so on and so on and so on, right? You all guys, everybody gets that at this point. Now, multi-attack capable is a sweet bonus, right? In the case of the Kodachis, right? We've seen Ira do lots of nasty things, right? In the case of Kodachis, where you can get, stab, stab, punch, or stab, stab, kick. Actually, stab, stab, kick's probably the better statement there, right? But so having multi-attack capable is, of course, a sweet bonus, but the cards I'm showing there, I think, are the ones who've demonstrated themselves to really support their heroes quite well. We have the Kodachis, we have Dawnblade, and we have the pistol, right? The Teklo pistol. Being able to somehow combine a guaranteed attack that costs you nothing permanently, right? Of course, you have to spend a card from hand to pitch, but it goes into your deck. So something that costs you nothing permanently in order to attack, it has proven repeatedly to be quite good in this game. And I also see my face right now, man. The light outside with the thunderstorm moving through is wreaking havoc. But you guys will all roll with it. So thank you for understanding. But yeah, and you compare this to you guys know I love Ranger, but the fact that she doesn't have a repeatable attack and that she has to consume cards in order to attack on a repeatable basis has really, really hurt her, in my opinion, compared to these other heroes that have clearly shown to be at the top. Number 2 I'm going to be looking for on the hero, of course, is the hero ability. I mean, I think that one goes without saying. I mean, of course, there's, the hero stats, right? If for some reason they have 30 points or for some reason they have less intellect, that's a different situation. But I'm assuming the majority of them are going to be on par. They're going to be 440s or 420s in that in certain cases, whatever. Or they'll be scaled independently. I mean, we have Benji up there, right? But what I'm going to be looking for in this inherent hero ability is a consistent and straightforward hero ability. Specifically, right, I'm referencing below Ira and Benji. Your second attack each turn gains +1. If attack action cards you control with 2 or less can't be defended, right? Those are static abilities that aren't dependent upon something happening, right? And you can even compare that to, to a certain extent. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dorinthea's ability is quite good, right? But it has to do its thing first. So you have to play into it. So you look at Ira and no matter what, as long as you're doing a second attack, Ira hits. That's a fantastic ability, right? Those type of abilities have proven to be very, very, very good in Flesh and Blood, regardless of meta, obviously you can't play Ira in Classic Constructed, but that type of concept is still there, right? And probably where it really shines is that it's non-combo based, right? Means that it's easy to trigger. And that's where the example I put of Dorinthea, for example, right? So in Dorinthea's case, you have to be able to make the weapon hit, right? And which means that you have to play a card into it that lets it hit. Now, again, with all of her cards, that's not that huge of a deal, but it can be, right? Whereas Ira, doesn't matter if it hits or not, second attack just gains +1. I mean, that's really good. And that's, the last bullet there, free is a very good price. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you a setup. All it costs you is doing what you naturally want to do anyway, which is swing again. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, at a fundamental level of the hero ability is how much does it cost me? How much of a setup does it require? Does it just happen naturally? Is it something that I can play into, or is it something I have to specifically build around? Because if I have to specifically build around it, sometimes I'm not going to be able to pull it off, right? And, that's what I say. The acceptable examples are, in this case, both the warriors, but Dorinthea and Kassai, right? Kassai to that, Kassai, again, her second attack, Kassai is maybe even a better, Kassai in her own element, I guess, maybe is better than Dorinthea in that, it's a static ability, but you still have to be able to get that go again, right? And I guess you can use the argument that Ira has to have go again too, right? But the difference is, to me, the difference is that Ira and Benji just naturally happen, whereas you have to play into Dorinthea and Kassai, which, granted, isn't that hard. But again, you can compare it to some of the other heroes out there, and I think you see what I'm driving for. All right, number 3 is consistency and ease of play. So the less, what I mean by this, right, is the less interactions that are required, or rather, the more interactions that are required, the harder it is to pull it off. Right, and I don't mean just in hero ability here, I just mean in their whole deck concept, right? So Dash, for example, right, I have her down there. As far as her whole, for her using her ability, she just starts with a thing in play, which means that you have a natural thing with her pistol, which is why she's so good, she's so consistent. With Bravo, sure, you can build around him. And then you have Ira again to that point where it's just she's pretty straightforward. To Ira, there's not a lot of strategy to Ira other than just timing and defending correctly, right? So, and that's kind of the point is, in order to use Ira to the best of her ability, you don't really need to think much, and it allows you to spend a lot of your deck building effort, a lot of your mental effort into doing the other part of the game, as opposed to having to set up her ability, right? Compare that to someone like an Azalea, where a lot of your mental effort is spent trying to figure out how to maximize her attacks, and then the defense almost becomes like a secondary thing, or furthermore, or on top of that, then the defending screws up your ability to do that, right? And it kind of starts compounding. So that's what I'm saying is the more straightforward it is, the more flexibility you have in play. And furthermore, it leads to faster development and evolution. And what I mean by that is you learn faster, right? Because it's easier to learn step one, or because it's less complicated to pull off step one, step 2 and 3, or so on, kind of evolve faster for you in your head, right? You start to learn, you learn faster because there's less of a barrier to mental entry. And it offers more variety then within that silo. And by that silo, I mean that character's playstyle. It also removes draw dependency, right? You compare an Ira, right? All you really need with an Ira and 2 Kodachis is you need a 0 cost that can pitch. That's it. As opposed to, again, like I know I'm picking on Azalea, right? But Azalea needs a setup, a reload, an arrow, and perhaps another arrow and something to opt with. And right, you see the difference there if you're trying to use one versus if you're trying to use the other. It's way, way, way easier to use Ira than it is Azalea. And yes, it doesn't necessarily hit for much. Again, I'm not making that direct comparison here, but what I'm trying to say is in terms of ease and consistency of making happen every single turn, the pressure is always there. And, when you remove the draw dependency, what do? You increase the repeatability. Again, like I just said, it's always, always there. And, number 4, and again, this is last, but this is certainly not least, because you, of course, have to, you have to play something. I mean, we're here to have fun. We're here to play things that are fun and speak to us. And that's what drew me to Ranger. I love Ranger. I love the theme of it, shooting the multiple arrows. I've loved the challenge of it, but it's just not as, repeatable in game. So that's why it's number 4, right? So if you could find something that speaks to you from the way you like to play and something that speaks for you to a theme, I think you're going to hit the home run. So a fun hero that appeals in theme, a play style that is attractive, and also a play style that fits your personal play preference. It offers challenges, but not fatigue, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking for as well. So that's just kind of my rundown. Obviously, we don't know what the heroes are going to be yet, but once things start to get spoiled, they're going to come at us very, very, very quickly. And when I'm choosing, which character I'm going to choose in my case by, where I'm going to put my initial effort, what I'm maybe going to be drafting for drafting weekend, if, fingers crossed, COVID can support that, we will see. But that's certainly, kind of the main thing that I'm going to be looking for. So I'm curious what you're going to be looking for as well. And also, do you think that what I'm talking about right now is right? Like, do you think that that's where, do you think that choosing one person to go in is the right way to do it? Do you think the criteria that I'm going to necessarily be looking at is right? Let me know. I'm trying to base it off of what we've seen succeed over the last, year or so across various metas. But again, the personal playstyle and actually having fun with it matters a lot too. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up today. Again, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. If nothing else, folks, go Commando.